everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're going to go in with another story time. So I wanted to start with the story about well, it's not a story, but like it's my experience with my first boyfriend. So when I was in high school, I was starting out at, started out as a freshman. I was like 15 years old, and there was this guy. I would see him walking in the hallway with this girl all the time. I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, oh, hey, that's a tall goth dude. That's pretty cool, whatever. And then we were working on a play together. And that's how we kind of formally met, and we kind of hit it off, and we really liked each other, and we hung out and stuff. And he would tell me his girlfriend was crazy, and she would threaten to kill herself and all this weird stuff. And just don't talk about your ex in weird ways. Just don't do it. It's just not cool. Anyway, so he ended up breaking it off with her, and we started dating, and he was still friends with her, but I didn't know for a while. And then I found out, and it was really awkward because it was you spent all this time, right, telling me how much you didn't like your ex, or how much you didn't like her, and how crazy she was, and she threatened to kill herself, but you're still friends with her. That's a big red flag. My first real red flag was he said he would he hated to break up, so he would be really mean so that she would break up with him, which, oh, by the way, if you want to break up with somebody, just do it. That's all there is to it. So he was my first boyfriend, and the first person that I had sex with ever. And he was wanted to tell his, there were so many things, honestly, that just were weird about, were wrong with this guy. He told his mom that I had already had sex with somebody because I was really young. It was very weird, and I still don't get it. But he cared so much about appearances, and it's probably really good that we aren't together anymore. That was 15 years ago. And it still messes me up because one time we were sitting in his living room, and he was waving his hand in front of my face, and I bit him in a playful way, but I guess it was kind of hard. Then he slapped me. So yeah, not a good time. We were doing a play together at the end of the year, a little play, and there was another girl in the play who had a really large chest. The way the play was, it was I was gonna play a guy because my chest wasn't as big, and I made a big deal about it. And there was also oh, I just remembered, there was this, you don't need to tell people whether or not you're having sex with somebody. It's none of their damn business. He said in front of all of our friends that he wasn't getting any when we were actually sexually active at the time. And it's I'm making a face, and I'm just who does that? I don't understand. He said he had he was in love with or had a crush on this other girl. And it's just not a thing that you tell somebody you're dating. And I'm 15 years old. This is my first boyfriend. I don't know anything. I am completely ridiculous. I think I'm in love for the first time, and I'm not. I'm struggling with my emotions. I'm dealing with other things from the past that are really awful, and I'm dating just this jerk. It's awful. It's terrible. And finally, and then we spend the whole summer in a relationship after my freshman year, and I don't remember a lot of things, but we went to this concert, and he was just really mean to me the whole time, which goes back to the whole I'm gonna be a jerk, so you'll break up with me so I don't have to do it thing. And that's just messed up. Don't do that. And he just I don't remember, but eventually I got sick of it and I broke up with, like, we broke up. I don't remember how, but we also got into like a really horrible car accident, and it was just so awful. Like, it wasn't as bad as some other relationships, but it was pretty bad. And like, after the car accident, my hair got like so matted I had to cut it, and it was pretty long. And you know, he's one of those guys that's like, don't ever cut your hair because like you're so hot, and I hate short hair on girls. You know, one of those guys. The worst. So then we break up. After that, he came to my house and he like asked me for like, well, actually no, first thing, he called me at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 a.m. Like, I was up getting ready for school, and he called me and was like, you know, crying on the phone. Like, he left a message. I didn't answer, thankfully, because I don't need that kind of stress in my life. And then he, I don't know, he just kind of vanished, but then he like, I think he texted me or something, and he was like, you know, he had asked for this teddy bear back, which is really messed up. Don't do that. Like, if you give somebody like a teddy bear, that, just let them have it. Good Lord. I cut its head off because like I was so upset and I was so hurt by that. Like, not only are you gonna be a jerk to me and you're gonna like screw me over and all these things, you're gonna ask for some stuffed animal that you gave me to give to someone else. Like, how horrible, how awful are you? And I'm just like, oh, that really hurt a lot. And you know, and it doesn't end there. Like, he, so we got a new theater teacher. The other one like quit because they had like disagreements, and my ex, my first boyfriend, he was like the sound guy, and we didn't have another one, and he had graduated because he was a senior. So the new theater teacher, who hated me because I like stood up to her one time and then she made me cry, it was terrible. She was the worst. She didn't have another sound guy, so she got my ex to do the sound, and everybody like said it was a bad idea, but she said she didn't care. Like, she just was so mean. And it's kind of like, even if you don't like somebody, bringing back their like ex-boyfriend and like, and not even showing any remorse, or not even talking to me about it, and being like, hey, for the play we don't have a sound person, and your ex unfortunately is the only one. Like, I would have understood. I would have been upset, but I would have understood. I would like to think, anyway. I like to think I'm a semi-rational person for the most part, when I'm not having like depressed crying fits in the middle of the night, which I don't anymore, thank goodness. And he would show up and just try to like interject himself into the narrative, and like, I just ignored him because like I did not like him at all. So yeah, that was my first boyfriend. He was the worst. Actually, no, he was not the worst, but he was pretty bad. So yeah, now we go into the second one. So, the guy who cheated on me, which he's probably not the only one, but he's the one that I definitely know, and it really screwed me up for a long time. So I was still in high school. This was like in my senior year. Like, I had turned 18 around Christmas time. So I had this friend, and this guy, I don't know why, I don't know how, but like, we ended up chit-chatting and this was back when like MySpace was big. So I'm on MySpace, you know, and we have AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, which if you don't remember that, well, that was the thing. That was how we communicated in my high school. We had AIM and we had MySpace. So we talked there, we talked a lot, and we talked on the phone too. And, you know, it was like, oh, you're so pretty, and oh, you're so hot, and all this other drivel, which, you know, regardless of truth, it's like, I don't know. Give me something new. Give me something different. And so, this guy, he's like super like into me. We get into a relationship before we even meet. He's gonna come down from, because he was living in Ohio, and we'll call him Jack. So Jack is gonna come from Ohio, and we're gonna spend the holidays together, and it's gonna be great. So he rides a bus down. I pick him up because I can drive, and I had been driving for a couple years, and you know, we hang out, and he spends time there, and it's all right. There's a lot of other drama going on at my house. Like, my mother is going through a divorce at the time, and we're dealing with my stepdad, who was the worst, and I call everybody the worst, but he was pretty bad. But then this guy, like, so he has an ex-girlfriend who's a friend of his, and I don't think anything of it. Like, this was back when I was way young and innocent, and I was still 18. Like, even though my first relationship, which we had just talked about, like, super duper, like, just destroyed me for a while. Actually, after a while, it just made me angry. I really trusted this guy, and I loved him and all that. Well, I guess as much as I could have, because I was very young, and I really didn't understand what love was. So, he has this friend who's his ex-girlfriend. We'll call her Alice. And Alice is 16, she's young, and she's really cool. I actually really liked her. So we go visit her, and, he's there for, like, this, winter vacation is, like, 2 weeks, right? So he's there for, like, part of that time, but not all of it. Oh, Lord. And he spends a couple nights with me, and we hang out, and we do things. We, like, hang out with friends, and blah. And he has, like, an ex-girlfriend of his that was a friend of mine, but she kind of drifted off. And at one point, when Jack and I started dating, my other friend, who we will call Vinny, like, logs into his AOL Messenger on my computer and messages her, and we'll call her Ellen. Okay, so Ellen had dated him before, and she went through men pretty easily, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're young, you date around, right? And so my friend at the time, Vinny, he messages her, and he says that he hates me, and I'm fully aware of this. And then she calls me a not very nice name, and it's only because I'm dating this guy who is not even worth the effort. Let me tell you. So yeah. So there's all this drama surrounding this guy already. So he has this ex-girlfriend, Alice, and we go meet her, and she's really cool, and I liked her. I thought she was neat. Like, I thought she was a cool person. Then after a while, like, I didn't think anything of this. I really didn't. I wasn't uncomfortable. I wasn't insecure. I was actually doing pretty well at the time. Senior year was a pretty good time for me, emotionally. And so finally, though, he says, like, he, doesn't want to stay at my house for whatever reason. I really can't remember. But he's going to stay at Alice's house. And again, like an idiot. I don't think anything of it. Then he kind of stops talking to me. Doesn't want to, like, say anything. I don't really remember why, but I felt like something was wrong. And I'm usually right when something's wrong. And so, eventually I, like, called him, or I wanted to, like, hang out, just the two of us, and, like, do, like, a date thing, because, he was my boyfriend. I wanted to do stuff with him. So we go see a movie. It's really awkward, and I just wanted to have, like, a normal time with my boyfriend at the time. Then he doesn't really say much. Then he goes back to Alice's house, and yeah, whatever. I don't think anything of it. And then fast forward, like, he's about to leave, so I take him to the bus stop and all that. And while he's on the bus, right after he gets on the bus to go home, he messages me through his phone, and he breaks up with me. And when I ask why, he says because I was manic depressive. Which I don't think I did anything. I was very confused. Like, he said I was manic depressive like Ellen was. And I was like, what? So confused. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was very like, I don't know what happened. I was very heartbroken by this really dumb relationship that honestly was like so silly. And you know, if it were just that, if it were just this, there would not be a story, obviously. And you probably already know what happened, and I already talked about it on Facebook. I mean, on Twitter. But I'm gonna talk about it again. So here we go. So years roll by, and Jack re-enters my life. Like, he adds me on Facebook, or not on Facebook. He adds me on MySpace again, and talks to me. He messages me. I think he made a whole new like AOL Instant Messenger, whatever. And so and I'm still friends with Vinny and all these other people and another friend of mine who I kind of miss sometimes. So he wants to be friends, and I, being a forgiving piece of garbage, I say sure, why not? So he comes over to my house, and Vinny's there, and a bunch of other people. He brings Alice, because him and her are dating. Again, you probably already know, but I am completely, like, oblivious to the whole thing. So he brings her. They're like, I'm, like, super nice, but she seems really uncomfortable. I'm not really sure why she seems really, like, unhappy and uncomfortable, and I'm just, you know, we're all friends here, we're all having a good time. And she, yeah, so, you know how it is. And then, you know, we didn't really hang out very much. That was just how it was. However she felt, you know, she never told me. I never really thought anything of it. I was just there, having a good time. There was a lot of drama surrounding everything. Like, oh my god, it didn't matter. Anyway, so now we go back. So then, some years later, I start going to this goth club with my friends, and it's fun, and I'm having a great time. And I see Alice there, and we reconnect, and, you know, I have no ill will towards her, so I'm just like, hey, I know you. Yeah, we're friends. And she, like, added me on Facebook, or one of us added the other, I don't know. And we would talk there sometimes, whatever. And eventually Jack, he added her as well, and she wanted to have, like, a party at her house, and I really regret that I did not go to it. I honestly wish I did, because I think he said he was gonna go, and that would have been hilarious. But anyway, then at one point, another friend of ours, another person we know, came up to us, and we were talking, and he asked us how we knew each other. So I say, oh, we dated the same guy. And she says, oh, at the same time. And I was like, wait, what? And she said, oh, well, dating, fucking. And I was like, completely in shock, just at how casual she said it. Like, it was honestly crazy. Like, how can you be so, like, casual about that? I don't understand at all. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. And I couldn't be her friend after that, you know. I just didn't want to talk to her. I was, like, so hurt. Now it seems more obvious with all the signs, but, like, at the time, I was completely devastated. I was completely just heartbroken. Honestly screwed me up for a long time, I think, because, I mean, I was already dealing with some other similar issues, but that shook me. I was absolutely devastated. I think I found out I sought out like another friend there, and I was just like, I just found out someone I dated like years ago, like cheated on me, and the person that he cheated on me with, and it's so messed up because like, uh, it's so that is some of the stuff I've gone through. These things really screwed me up, but I have more horrible relationship stories to share. So if you're interested, let me know. This is the first one, and certainly not the last. So thanks for listening. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave a like or a dislike, whatever. Leave a comment. Tell me about some stuff that you've been through. Tell me, I don't know, if you can, or whatever. Leave a nice comment. Tell me something cool that happened in your life. Be sure to follow me on social media. Follow me on my Twitter. I am there like all the time. Literally cannot get off of it. If you have the means, consider supporting my Patreon or, whatever. But anyway, thanks for listening. I hope everyone has a great night, and bye. I just wanted to add, thanks for listening. This was really hard to do. I had to cut a lot of stuff out, so I'm mainly just trying to fill up the last like minute. Anyway, yeah. So thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Please, let me know, and like if you have ever been through these kind of things, just know that you are not any less valuable a person. Like if someone cheats on you, that is a reflection on them and not on you, which is something I had to sort of teach myself. But anyway, I'm definitely going to do more of these because I think it's a little cathartic, and I really want to share, these kind of things. I have so many strange relationship stories, and these aren't even the strangest. These are just kind of some of the ones that were sort of the peak ones in high school that like did the most damage. Anyway, please subscribe. Let me know if you have any, I don't know, interest in seeing me draw anything specific too. I'm always down to hear that. I know it looks a little weird proportionately, but thanks for listening, and I hope everyone has a great day.